G'day guys, Joey here, Jollop Lures. Just gotten back from the 2023 Bassmaster Classic Media Day here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and let me tell you, we interviewed some absolute hammers out there. We had an absolutely fantastic day, got some great content coming your way, so sit back and relax and check out who we got to talk to. Alrighty guys, here we are. Four-time Classic qualifier, Matt Robertson. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Oh, it's my pleasure, buddy.
We've come all the way from Australia to talk to you. You're definitely one of our favourites on our list, and as I said, we've got a pretty big following back home, mate.
Yeah, man. For some reason, me and the Australians kind of get along and see eye to eye and know how to have a good time.
No, and that's 100% the reason. You're just laid back, and that probably leads me into my first question. Have you always been this laid back with your fishing, or is it just something that's grown as your career's gone on?
It's kind of grown as my career goes on. You know, everybody, I think, as a person, you know, grows, and I used to be a little more high-strung, and I realized it wasn't really doing me much good, so I focused my energy a little better now.
And did you find your results improve when you just started to relax a little bit more?
Yeah, 100%, because your emotions aren't getting involved in everything, and you're working instead of letting all that getting wound up and everything.
And you've been vocal in the fact that you say you fish for the wood. There's the only reason you fish is for that trophy.
100%, and I've practiced different this time just for the fact that I'm literally going out there fishing for first place. I might not even get a bite, but I'm telling you, like, the fish we're fishing for are the fish that's going to win this thing.
And I guess when you come to the Classic, you've got to have that attitude, don't you? Like a top 10, it's a great finish, yep. But you're here to win.
Yeah, you know, in the past I'd get caught up a little bit with trying to want to catch fish, bring fish up on stage. You know, you don't want to come in without them. This being my fourth Classic, I'm kind of over that. So we're fishing to win 100% like we never have. Not worried about bringing fish on the stage or not, as long as they're the five right ones.
The right ones. Now, are we going to see any sleeves come off if you win, mate?
Yeah, you're probably going to see some sleeves come off. Probably going to get fined again. The pants are staying on. No, that's
no pants off.
Yeah, the pants are staying on this week.
Oh, well, that's awesome, mate. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
I appreciate y'all. I enjoy it.
Alrighty, guys, here we are. Fishing in his 12th Classic, probably one of, other than Carl, the most favourite Elite Series pro in Australia. Brendan Palaniuk, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mate, you've come off an absolutely stellar year last year, and things haven't taken off probably the way you wanted this year. So coming into the Classic, is this a motivator to get the year back on track?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I had a first great event, then I struggled at the second one. If you win the Classic this week, none of the rest of it matters, right? I mean, you can right the ship in a hurry in the next 3 days of fishing, and nobody will remember really any of the rest of the year, right? I can finish dead last the rest of the year, and everyone will say, man, you had a phenomenal year last year.
That seems to be your general consensus. Yeah. You listen to podcasts and all the pros say the same thing. You have one good finish on your worst year, and everyone remembers that one good finish. So, mate, I want to chat to you about live sonar. Like, back home, it's really taken off as it is over here, but from listening to a lot of podcasts, it seems that you guys sort of never looked in some of those areas before. Didn't realise the fish suspended in some of those places. Is that the case?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest learning tools of real information that we've ever had. Everything else was kind of just theories of how fish moved based on the information that we had, but now we're actually seeing live how fish live, and really there's this whole group of fish that were untapped. How many fish were just nomadic, and those fish are oftentimes the hardest ones to catch. Even though they've been untouched, they're still very difficult to catch. And I think it's really opened our eyes of, how fish even move or use certain pieces of structure. We used to always think that if water was dirty, they had to go to the bank. But that's not the case. Some fish will stay out there, they'll suspend in dirty water and things like that. And so it's really opened our eyes. I mean, just like I'm sure it has with the Barra in Australia, like just seeing how those fish live and swim and how they relate to structure and bait is pretty cool to see.
It's phenomenal, because for the last 20 years we fish lakes up to 60 foot deep in the middle of winter for bass when they're school, but we just drive around with 2D sonar or side imaging to find them. But now it's taking a lot of time out of finding them. You can get straight onto them.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the hardest things to do is idle over fish that were 15 foot down over 60 foot, because a lot of times they would just move away from your boat and you would never see them. Now you can drop the trolling motor, you can scan around, you can see those fish, and they don't spook before you idle over them, which is pretty dang awesome.
That's unreal. Talking about Australia and the Barra, is there a chance that we might see you make an appearance over on the Barra Tour?
I wanted to go last year, but I had already committed to another sponsor obligation, so I wasn't able to make it, and Gussie filled my shoes, so I was pretty bummed about that because it looked like an amazing trip. I will get over there for sure. If not this year, in the near future.
And I'm sure there'll be a hell of a lot of Aussies waiting to see you.
I hope so, man. I love that country. Pretty much love everybody in it except for Carl. Just
awesome,
kidding.
Mate. Good luck for this weekend, and we appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you.
Alrighty guys, here we are over here now with 5-time Elite Series champion, fishing his 9th Classic, Jason Christie. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mate, we were just chatting off camera. It's not your first Classic, but how are the nerves coming into the event?
I'm not nervous by any means, but I'm more nervous now than I typically am, because I don't know what's going to go down tomorrow. You know what I mean? Practice was kind of a wash with the cold weather. A guy's going to have to fish by his gut. So I like having a plan, and I don't have a plan tomorrow. I don't even know where I'm starting. I don't even know which direction I'm going yet. We'll have to figure that out tomorrow, but I think once I get that first one in the boat, I'll calm down and go fishing.
Is there a little bit inside you that says, man, it would be really cool to win 2 in a row?
Oh yeah, everything inside of me says it'll be cool. I'll tell this for the people that if you've never won a Classic, it's addictive. I mean, you're treated like a king in the industry after that year. Actually forever, honestly, but you want more of it. I want it more for my family, my friends, my sponsors than I do myself. But it's addictive. I mean, it's the biggest. It's a giant tournament, and everybody that knows bass fishing will be watching this week.
It's crazy to think. We had an Uber driver before, and he doesn't follow bass fishing at all, but he knew that the Bassmaster Classic was on. So it's pretty crazy to think that.
Yeah, like I said, everybody will be watching, and I just want to be the guy at the end that is the last guy standing. And the norm the last few years has been back to back. We've had a couple of guys do it in the last few years, and I would like to be the third guy to do it in the last few years.
Is it sort of setting up to suit your style of fishing?
In a way, if I had to throw one negative out, I think it's going to fish pretty small. Like, I'm not going to be able just to run and fish new stuff. More than likely, after the first hour tomorrow, I'm going to be fishing behind somebody the rest of the day. So I'm going to have to do things to get these fish to bite, that these other anglers are missing. But the weather, absolutely, it's setting up, for hopefully some of these fish to move. I just need to have the right rotation 3 days in a row.
Get everything to line up, and hopefully you'll be holding that second trophy.
Yeah, if you win the Classic, all of the stars have to line up for you, and without a doubt. I mean, even if you're on the biggest school of fish, you have to have the stars line up.
Wicked. Well, mate, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Alrighty, guys, here we are with, by far, other than Carl, my favourite angler over here in the Elite Series. Lee, thanks for joining us, Lee.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to creep up on Carl.
And look at this, even gives us a nice bush light there to cheers, mate. Lee, coming into the event, do you have a lot of nerves, or your laid-back style? Is it just...
Dude, I'm super laid back. I do all my mental stuff before I get here. All my studying, all my, thoughts and knowledge, everything that goes through my head. I'm done with that before I get here. It's all business when I get here, so I'm laid back. You know, that's how I am, very malleable 24/7 anyways, but I'm all business at the same time, you know. I like to have beers with my buddies, hang out and do all that crazy stuff, but at the same time, you know, first one in the water, last one off every day that I can, practice hard. Mental game is where it's at, you know, so it's all business while I'm here for sure.
Listen to you on a lot of podcasts exactly like that. You say, although I like to have a great time and throw a steak on the grill and have a beer, it's still 100% focused the whole time.
Yeah, that's how we work. And the same group of guys that I hang out with, you know, that's what we do. You know, we love to hang out together, have that fraternity feel, cooking, drinking beers, whatever you like that, hanging out, making fun of each other, and enjoying the tournament. You know, these guys are good. You better bring your A game, you know, whether it's me, Carl, or anybody, you know. We're focused. We want this more than anything. You know, that's why we're here. You know, we're addicted to the sport and we want trophies.
Well, it's just a drug, isn't it? It just keeps you coming back time and time again.
It is. You know, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's hard. It's a mental sport like crazy. You know, people like Carl that do everything right, it's just insane how good of a guy he is. I look up to him too as an angler and a friend.
Now that leads me into my next question perfectly. On one of the podcasts with Mercer, you suspected that maybe Palaniuk was having some Cambodian squirrel nuts. Do you think maybe you need to dip into that jar?
Oh, no, I'm going to stay bush lights and red meat for sure. Maybe a little fish and wild game, you know. I love Palaniuk. I make fun of him. It's, you know, him and Carl so healthy and everything is perfect. And then you have a guy like me that's just laid back and drinking beer. And, you know, we all make it work our separate ways, no matter what it is. You know, we have fun. They have fun. I enjoy everybody so much out there on tour.
Now, we've had some pretty miserable weather earlier in the week. We went fishing yesterday ourselves and it was absolutely disgusting, terribly cold. Nice warming trend through. Is that going to help the fish set up to the way you want to catch them?
Me, yeah. You know, this water was already warm before we got here. You know, that first day when we put in, it was like 58 in some areas. So I don't really think that's what's hurting it. I think it's the low water, clear water, lack of current. That's what's hurting us. You know, that water's already pretty warm, but it's going to help. Like you said, I think it's going to bring some more fish to the bank, let those fish eat a little bit better, be a little bit, you know, just like us. We want to be comfortable, be a little bit more comfortable. They'll feed better in the afternoon. So I think it's definitely going to fit into what I like to do. You know, I'm a shallow power fishing guy. That's what I do. That's what I like to do. And that's what I'm going to do. So I think it'll help me for sure. Awesome.
Now, just last night before we let you go, I know you've got a heap of things to do. Last year, Gussie, you made the trip over with Carl to fish the Barra Open. Is there a chance we might be able to convince you to head over and chase some Barra?
I'm down. I kept up with that trip, everything that they would post. It seemed really cool. Made me Google some stuff, look at catching them. I would love to come do that and compete. Just catch them. I don't even have to fish a tournament. I just want to catch one of those big old things. It looked really cool and really fun.
Well, we might finish this beer up and we might try and make that happen.
Let's do it. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Alrighty guys, here we are with fishing in his fourth Bassmaster Classic, and last time the Elite Series came to Knoxville, this man here took out the event. Jeff Gustafson, thanks for joining us, mate.
Yeah, I'm glad to see all you guys, all my Aussie friends over here in America.
Mate, there'll be a lot of guys watching this here tonight. Absolutely stoked that we've got you on here. You're a big fan. All the talk in Australia was Gussie fished the Barra tour. He loves to drink beers.
Yeah. No, I had the time of my life over there, and like I'll be back. Can't wait to come back for sure. Yeah, just the fishing was obviously super fun. You know, Margot looked after us pretty good, and but yeah, just all the guys were great, and food was awesome. Just thought it was the best trip I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah, those Barra, they're pretty awesome once you hook up.
Yeah, I've been like I don't know, multiple times a week I get asked about like how's the fishing over there, and I mean everyone obviously has been seeing how much fun I've been having, but like, or I had, but yeah, like just the best thing I could say is like you know, some of them you'd set the hook and like by the time your rod was loaded up, they're 6 feet in the air, and just, you know, a muskie's kind of our big freshwater fish up in Canada where I live, and like they would pull a muskie backwards. So
yeah, wow.
Yeah,
oh, that's awesome.
So
mate.
Fun.
We're so glad you had a great time.
Yeah.
Now, leading into this event, as I mentioned, you did win last time the Elite Series was here. Does that give a little bit of extra pressure given that you defending that title and it's the Classic as well?
Well, my spot from last time is actually pretty good again, but it's getting all the pressure.
So does it just get pressure from the other pros, or is there a lot of sort of local anglers out there?
There's both. There was actually a local tournament on Saturday. A bunch of those guys were fishing it, but yeah, there's going to be I'm sure quite a few of our guys fishing there tomorrow too, and I'm gonna try and hopefully can take a few fish off it tomorrow. But I got a few other things going on too, and hopefully some of those will pan out. And but I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited to get out there, and I think I'm gonna have a chance. Need to have a little luck for sure, but yeah, I'm excited.
Is this warming trend going to help the way your fish are going to set up?
I don't think it's my friend necessarily, but I mean the water's it's been cold this week. It's cold in general, so I don't think that a day or two of warm weather, I don't think it's going to change things like drastically, but at the same time, it's just that time of year where these fish are going to want to start moving to the bank and spreading out, and but yeah, hopefully they hang around for a few more days.
Yeah, awesome. Mate, as a Canadian, obviously you've faced some challenges, of course, just like probably Carl has. What's some of the biggest things coming from Canada that you've had to overcome to fish the Elite Series?
Yeah, obviously like a lot of travel. Like I go back and forth, I'm able to go home, so that's obviously like different than Carl's situation. Yeah. But yeah, just like, you got to cross borders, which isn't always easy and fun, and it always kind of works out. But yeah, just the travel, and it's a long time away from home. Like that part of it's not glamorous. You see all the awesome equipment, and the highs are high in this sport, and the lows are low. But you just try to have fun. It is a lot of fun getting to fish all the different places that we get to go, and some are better than others. But yeah, I mean, just like probably everyone watching this, we all love fishing and are passionate for it. So you just I want to get to fish at the highest level that I can, and this is the Elite Series, and the Classic is it.
Just quickly before we go, mate, Carl's obviously a great friend of yours, and we're a huge supporter of Carl. His name's been getting thrown in the ring a lot for a favourite coming into this weekend. Yeah,
no, we, him and I are best friends, and we talk every day pretty much pre-fishing and share a lot of info with each other. We can tell each other, we trust each other, and we help each other. But he's got. I think he's going to do well. Same thing. You fish for big ones. You're fishing to win, and he knows what he has to do. And if he catches a few breaks, he's doing the right things. He's not like going into it like, just hoping to catch a couple fish to bring across the stage. I mean, he's fishing to catch big ones. So yeah, I'm excited for the opportunity that he has too. It'd be awesome if we ended up, in the mix on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild Sunday night if you guys are at the top there at the end.
Yeah, it will.
Anyway, mate, me and all those guys watching at home, we wish you all the best for this weekend.
Okay, thanks. I can't wait to see everybody whenever. I don't know if it'll be this year or not. Maybe if a good tournament here this weekend will help that cause. But yeah, I can't wait to come back and see everyone and catch some more Barra.
Thanks for spending the time with us. Rightio guys, now we are here with two-time Angler of the Year champion and in his 20th Classic, Gerald Swindle. Thanks for joining us.
Man, I'm glad to be on this. I made it worldwide. James Watson ain't worldwide. I'm worldwide now, James Watson. I'm in Australia, baby.
And there is a lot of fans watching you here right now.
Man, I appreciate that. I'm the biggest fan of the biggest Australian over here, so Carl's #1 fan in America would be me.
And I think a lot of Aussies have really appreciated. You kind of took him under your wing there early on and helped him out. And
he shows me, I see something in Carl, like I see the potential of the greatness, like not just a star, but a superstar. I see that Carl's career could be 25 more prosperous years, and I see how bad he wants it. I see how hungry he is. And dude, like for me, at my part of my career, I like seeing that. And I like the fact that he challenges me to be better. So if I have something or a piece of advice that I can help him with and he asks, I'm going to help him, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure he appreciates it, man.
It's been so awesome the last 2 years, as much as we talked, to see Carl, how his fishing's progressed. And how he's had days where things wasn't good, and then he'll come in and he was like, mate, I had 2 hours left, I had one bass, and I made this move, and it worked. And I tell him all the time, I said, Carl, that's what builds Angler of the Years.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen that today. So you didn't get the applause, but I promise you, that's how you build an AOY title. That's how you build a championship. So to me, Carl is a true fighter. He is a guy with the spirit, like he's got the fighting lion spirit.
And like we just talked about before, he had it all in Australia. He was the best angler, he had a great job, he had a house, he had it all, and he gave it all up to come over. So it's a big commitment.
Well, he shows he's willing to chase the dream. So many people are scared to chase a dream or try to do something because they don't want to fail. You know, most people will sit at home and say, I coulda, woulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda. It doesn't matter. If you don't have the balls to try it, you're never going to know. So my biggest appreciation of Carl Jocumsen is he had what it takes to say, throw it all aside, I'll start again. To me, that's game changer.
And how many like young kids back now at home are looking up at Carl going, I can do that.
I can do this because he did it without a plan. He did it without a mother and daddy giving, hey, here's a couple $100,000. If you run out, call us.
Yeah.
Carl come over and provided a way. Carl has shown a lot of kids, even over here, hey, you don't have to be wealthy. You just got to have a big heart and a lot of dream. And I think that's why when I see his Fear My Heart, I'm thinking, people think that when they see that, they think that's just on the water. But I'm like, you really should fear his heart on how his desire was to get here.
Yeah.
His heart just to get a chance to play the game was bigger than a lot of people's heart who are in the game.
And he was given a phenomenal opportunity, and look what he's done with it. He's run with it, and he's doing us all proud.
Yeah, and I'm pulling for the Aussie. Like, I'm trying to beat him, but I like, and this could be a great tournament for Carl. Like, there's a few things that the weather, if they warm up and Carl can bring his glider into effect, if that happens, Carl's going to be a handful.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's amazing. Like, there's been some big names through the week that have thrown his name in the hat.
Yes, I think he's perfectly capable of winning. I think Carl needs a little bit of break in the weather to get where his strength plays. You know, and what I admire about Carl is he's talked to me times about things that he thinks he's not good at. Not many pro anglers are going to open up and say, hey, mate, I really ain't no good at jerkbait fishing, or I'm really not any good at this. He will admit, I might be not, he's like, I'm not comfortable enough shallow cranking.
Yeah.
But if he gets something in his hands that he's comfortable with, look out.
That's enough about Carl.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you, mate. You've had a phenomenal career. You've got one of the biggest followings around the world for a professional angler, yet you haven't held that blue trophy, but that doesn't matter. You've got that following for the right reasons, don't you?
I hope so, man. I've been so blessed, dude. Like, I got into the sport. I didn't know, I don't have a marketing degree. I didn't have my mom and dad didn't have them. I come off a farm.
Yeah.
You know, but I won money fishing, and I was thinking, this is where I want to be. And it's for some reason or another, even without a roadmap or a plan, things just kept happening. And then I was like, I got so blessed that the people accepted who I was. This is just a country guy that might misspell something on social media. But my love for fishing, I think, resonated with a lot of people that said, hey, we can relate to this guy.
Yeah, very relatable, yeah. Well, mate, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day.
To all the Australian fans, hey, thanks for loving G-Man, because I'm going to come over sometime as soon as the flight gets a little shorter.
Yeah, so that's actually, we should talk about that. Is there a chance of getting over to the Barra tour?
There is, and like what Carl said, but y'all do it in November.
Yes, hunting season.
That's the best hunting season. And like, there's a couple things I'm not going to miss. Is dinner when my wife cooks it, and hunting season. So like, if we could move that Barra Monday back to like October, I'm going.
Well, we'll talk to Stephen and Nicole and see if we can make
just
that happen.
one time in October. But I would love to come to it. Carl told me so much about it and how Gus and him enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And he said he learned a lot. Even though he knew how to do it, he said with the new electronics watching it, he said, I learned a lot.
Yeah, as tuned in as the guys are over here, I don't have live forward-facing sonar myself, but the guys that are Barra fishing that are good at it, they are at the top level.
Yep.
They're phenomenal.
That's what it takes. So I hope to see everybody in Australia. I'll make the trip.
Let's do it.
You got it.
Thanks
for
mate.
having me on.
Alrighty guys, we left the best to last. This guy needs no introduction. You all know who this guy is. Carl, thanks for joining us, mate.
Too easy, mate. You guys travelled the furthest out of anyone, so I'm happy you're here. It's been awesome.
Mate, I think everyone in Australia right now, whether they knew about the Bassmaster Classic 2 weeks ago, they know about the Bassmaster Classic now.
Yeah.
You got the media you deserved back at home. You were on the news, so it was fantastic to see them promoting such a great event.
Yeah, it was actually the first time that they had actually reached out and found me, which is super cool. So we did a Channel 9 news interview, and then we did a Wide World of Sports interview with Mark Taylor. So that was cool to see bass fishing finally getting a bit of the mainstream media.
And mate, you're a high-end sports person from Australia, so you're finally getting that recognition you deserve.
I appreciate it, mate. It's been a wild journey. I've always wanted bass fishing to get in that spotlight, you know, and I knew it was going to take something like this to for it to start to finally come out. And I love promoting the footy players and all of that, and I love that. But it's it's cool to have an Aussie over here competing with the best guys in the world, and it's cool to sort of bring it out to the mainstream people in Australia.
A lot of people don't realise that you don't just do this for fun. Like, this is your job. Like, you rely on every event, every check. That is your livelihood, isn't it?
Yeah, for the last 10, 12 years, this is my livelihood. I've gone broke several times, maxed out credit cards, had to go home, sell stuff. I've done everything I can to just survive, just to stay in the hunt, and I've gotten through those adversities somehow, didn't quit, came back, and now we're competing against the best guys in the world in the biggest tournament in the world. And it's one of those things, when you don't quit, it's just, you don't know what's on the other side.
Now, I'm sure that you've heard through the week, there's been some pretty big names that have thrown your name in the hat as their favourite for this weekend.
Yeah, I saw Van Dam and a few of those guys drop my name, and that's just super cool, because I've never, I've always been the underdog. My name's never popped up for an elite event or anything like that, but coming off a couple back-to-back events, making this and getting some consistency, bass fishermen know that momentum is a big thing in fishing, and so I think my name's getting up there because we come off a couple good Florida events, and I live in Tennessee. I've fished this river system in Chickamauga a lot, so it's all coming together.
So that leads into my next question perfectly. You've come off 2 great events into the biggest event of your life, where you just need to win. You're coming 8th or 10th, that does nothing. So coming with that attitude where you can just swing for big fish, which we know you like to do, fish with big baits, does that give you even more confidence?
Yeah, if that plays, it will definitely help me. It just depends whether this weather heats the water up and all of that stuff. This is an event, you can't just like go and do that and hope. The conditions have to be perfect for it, so I have to be smart at the same time. But we have just come through freezing cold temperatures, and now it is starting to heat up. It's coming a little bit late, but we're going to just see what that water temperature does, see how the conditions plays out. But yeah, this isn't one where you want to finish second. This is a win all event, so we're definitely going to go out there and give it everything.
Well, mate, we appreciate your time. We're going to let you go because I know you've got a stack of things to do, and I know everyone back home is appreciating what you're doing. I
appreciate all the Aussies. Thanks all the support over here. The buzz in the boatyard around Bassmaster is the Aussie fans. Everyone's talking about them, and it's really lifted me up even higher than I can possibly get. So appreciate the continued and dedicated support from all the Aussies.
You're a legend. Thanks Carl.
All right, we're going to go down and give Gussie his memorabilia from the Barra tour in Australia. It's going to be pretty cool.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Did they? Did they have a look at it? I couldn't be checked on that. You want to give it to him? Yeah. I didn't sign up for doing forward, but I'm pretty sure you can give it.
I get a chance to see the boat team last night. How are you?
We've got a little bit of memorabilia for you guys.
Oh yeah?
What do we got? That's Joey. Joey made them. He made those trophies.
We kept it a bit of a surprise. Carl reached out and said, "Can you whip something up for?"
Yeah,
man. So yeah,
that's sweet.
No,
that's beautiful. That's top notch.
Both got one.
Yeah. Best fishing trip I've ever been on.
It would be good to have something.
They just put it out.